Hello again and welcome. Today I'm going to be turning a platter from this lovely piece of oak burr that was very kindly given to me over the Christmas period by a friend of mine. It arrived in a slab. It's about 2.5 inches in parts and just on 3 inches in other parts. And it is too large to turn over my bedways, although I've got a 9-inch swing. It's about 18.5, 19 inches, so it's going to be an outboard turning, which I'm looking forward to. It was also too big to put onto my circle cutting jig because that was for my old lathe, and the maximum diameter was 16 inches. However, what I did was use the Paul Hadley centre finder again to get the centre of the slab, and then I took my homemade beam compass, very rudimentary but very effective, and drew a circle to represent the maximum of the diameter of the platter. So I did that, and then I took it over to the bandsaw and took away all the square edges, if you like, and cut not exactly on, just over the line of the circle I drew with the compass. Now, to hold this to begin with, because it's not an extremely deep piece of wood, I've decided to go with a glue block. So I'll be using this glue block, and I'll be doing another video on this because there's quite a few questions going around on social media regarding glue blocks and so on. Now, I have 100% faith in the integrity of glue blocks, and this is going to be proof of the pudding because this is a very heavy piece of wood, and we're going to be turning it with a glue block. And this particular one, I've inserted a nut into that one to fit my spindle, but we'll go into how I made that in another video. So I've located that. I've also got a locator, so this is centralized, and that just fits down the middle, and you locate the center point on your piece. There we go. Locate the center point on your piece like so, and then drop it down and glue it in place so you know it's in exact position. But as I say, I'll go into the making of those in another video. So that's what I'm going to do today, and without further ado, let's get turning this large oak burr platter. Okay, so now you can see that the glue has gone an opaque colour. There's a good strong bead there, plus the glue on the inside, and this will make a very strong bond. Okay, a bit of an update. Normally with a piece like this I would use an oil finished, more than likely Danish oil, but on this occasion don't forget this is very old and very dry oak burr, and there was quite a lot of punky areas, and I just could not get rid of the tear out to my satisfaction. And that's using negative rake scrapers and yes, sharp tools obviously, shear cutting, but it just wasn't really working. So I've gone down the route of applying sanding sealer, letting it dry, sanding 180, blowing away the dust, and reapplying sanding sealer and sanding sealer and sanding, and it seems to be doing quite a good job. It's getting a more acceptable finish now. I'm on my third application. I might do another 2 or 3 until I'm happy. Then most probably Yorkshire grit and Hampshire sheen, and I'll be doing the same on the other side when we spin them around to hollow out the inside of the platter. Just sort of keeping you informed, and I'll see you in a minute when I've got this to a level I'm happy with and applying the finish. Okay, that's the back finish now. I'll spin him around and we'll hollow out the inside. Well, that's it turned, so all remains now is quite a bit of sanding, I should think. Tear out doesn't seem too bad, but nevertheless I'm going to go with the same method I did on the back, is to sanding sealer, sand, sanding sealer, sand, Yorkshire grit, Hampshire sheen, and I'll come back when I'm finishing it off. Okay, I just thought it worthwhile mentioning, I have never turned such a difficult piece of wood. Excuse me. However, I have had to resort to using an orbital sander. Gone down to starting off with 80 grit, would you believe, to get rid of some of the tear out and some of the ridges, because the density of the wood is so different. However, I started off with 80 grit, 100, 120, 240, 320, and I've got a
surface now which I am relatively pleased with. In between each grit I was giving a dose of sanding sealer. I have now sanded down to 320, not using the orbital. Obviously I used the orbital sander in the beginning at the rougher grits, and then I used a power drill as opposed to the Hope sander, because I could actually get it a little more specific where it was needed. Anyhow, I've applied another coat of sanding sealer, and now I'm going to be Yorkshire grit and Hampshire sheen, and at last I think I'll call it a day. I'll see you when I'm buffing up the Hampshire sheen. And there he is finished. I'm very pleased with how it's turned out. A lot of hard work. Using sanding techniques, with the orbital sander that I've never used on a piece before, but it worked very well. I'm very pleased with it. Well, it's finally finished. I'm very pleased with the outcome. A lot of hard work, and with regards to the sanding, I've never actually resorted to an orbital sander before, but for this sort of wood, being dry, hard and very different densities, it was, well, it was not the only solution possibly, but it was a solution I found to be very successful. And it's just under 19 inches across and just under 3 inches deep, and to be honest with you, I'm well pleased with it at the end of the day. And don't forget, on the 11th and 12th of May at the NEC Birmingham, Maker Central, I'll be on the Yorkshire Grit stand with Glyn and Joe for the Saturday and the Sunday. Come along and say hello to us. I'll look forward to seeing you there. Well, thanks very much indeed for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you very soon. Cheers now.